Looks like a very main street. I think it's called Unter and Linden Street, and just everywhere you walk along here and as far as the eye can see down the street, there's just buildings of like historical nature in one way or another, with just like incredibly impressive architecture. So today is our second day in Berlin, and we've been sort of a bit overwhelmed by the amount of stuff that there is to do here, and everything. It's like an enormous city. Everything is like so spread out. So this is going to be like a two-part or a two-day video where we're going to tackle like all of the main things to do, the top tourist destinations in Berlin.
Yeah, so today we're hoping to get to Berlin Cathedral, Brandenburg Gate, which is like an awesome landmark, really well known.
Really recognisable, eh?
Checkpoint Charlie, a Holocaust memorial. And
like everything in between, because there's just so much going on. Ruby's joining us as well.
Oh yeah, if you see Ruby, she got here really early in the morning, so...
We're lucky that we've got the local recommendation from Laura, who we're staying with, so that we can group together all of the stuff in like today, one day, and then tomorrow we'll do like the wall or in the next video and group all of that stuff, because like geolocation, it just makes sense. But first we had to catch a bus, which was I think €2.80 to get to this Alexanderplatz area. And we keep noticing this around, which is the tallest building in Berlin apparently. It's 368 meters, I think. We thought it was going to be like a tower you could go up, but apparently it's actually just part of, it's like a TV station and like office buildings and stuff. But we're heading in this direction towards the cathedral now. So I've made it to the Berlin Cathedral. This is originally built in the 1400s apparently, which is just like ridiculous to think how far back that is. But obviously it's been like added to and developed and sort of improved over time. So it was in the 1900s, I think, 1905? 1905, I think
that
it was like
completed.
Yeah, and probably when they added all the nice little like gold touches on top and all that sort of stuff.
He's just making that up, we don't know that. And it's on an area called Museum Island, where all the like well-known museums are located. Yeah, so like that's right behind us is a river, and you can take these little cruises right the way around and check out all of the different museums and stuff. And that was like a 10-minute walk from Alexanderplatz. Super close. The architecture we've seen around this city is just blowing us away. It's just so incredible, and we're just standing right here now looking, and just in this vicinity alone there's like 5 or 6 different maps there, and then just literally walk around the corner and you've got a beautiful big park, everybody just hanging out, having some lunch, a couple of drinks, and I think there's someone even having wedding photos out there. So we've probably only walked about 5 minutes down. Looks like a very main street. I think it's called Unter and Linden Street, and just everywhere you walk along here and as far as the eye can see down the street, there's just buildings of like historical nature in one way or another, with just like incredibly impressive architecture. Right here, this looks like the Parthenon sort of style, like almost Greek. I think back behind me there is the German History Museum, and just everywhere you look, all around down the street, it's just, I mean, there's a lot of tours and everything, but it is, yeah, there's just, you could probably spend hours walking all the way along here, going into all of these little spots, taking photos. But we're making our way down to, Stacey, where are we going again? Brandenburg Gate, which is definitely one of the most iconic things to see here. We got distracted by this big, amazing square here. It's just absolutely stunning, like amazing cobblestone streets and everything as well. If you haven't picked up yet already, we're absolutely loving Berlin. This place is so awesome. Not only is there all this history and everything, but it's just a really cool culture and scene here. We can definitely see ourselves spending more time. But off we go, down the street even further towards the gate. And then I think we're gonna try and go to Checkpoint Charlie and a couple of other things as well. So we've made it to what is probably one of the most iconic buildings or like structures in Berlin as a whole. So it's the Brandenburg Gate, which is apparently used to separate Berlin on this side and Brandenburg, which is back that side, but there's been loads of like things throughout history that have occurred here as well. So it was built in the early 1800s. One of the most interesting stories that we heard is that up the top, the statue up there was actually taken after the Prussian army, so from that side of the gate. They were defeated by the French and they took the statue back to Paris with them, but then apparently a few years later, I think it was, then the Prussian army went to France, took the statue and brought it back. But you can see by the amount of people that are around us, this is definitely the most congestion we've seen in one place. There are so many people because there's just so much that happened here that there's no way we could share all of the information.
So this place is known as the Memorial to the Murdered Jews of Europe, and basically it consists of like, is it 2,711
like that.
Stone pillars.
Sort of all uneven heights and...
Yeah. They've been arranged, apparently there's like loads of different interpretations, and they've been arranged, like the most common interpretation is that they've been built to kind of look like a graveyard. And yeah, I think we were reading before that 6 million Jewish people were murdered during the Holocaust.
Yeah, so it's definitely a little bit of a somber place to visit, but it's open to interpretation what it actually means, but it really is quite crazy walking through here. It is just so enormous. I mean, these are twice my height at the tallest, and you know some of the other ones out front are very, very small around the edges, but probably covers, I'd say it covers the size of like a football field. So it is very big in all directions as well. You just sort of keep walking. Everywhere you go, there's like really cool shadows, and I mean this is solid rock as well. So yeah, I don't really know what more to say about this place. It's obviously not a very nice story, but it's incredible to be here and visiting it. So I've just stopped for a little bit of food and some lunch and some beer as well. This is definitely my favorite German beer, Oettinger. That's for 450 euro, I think. And then we've got some salami pizza and some more currywurst. This is like a traditional German sausage. If you didn't catch yesterday's video, we went to a much more local spot compared to where we are now, which is probably a little bit more touristy, and like tried this for the first time. It's actually really, really nice. It's got curry powder on it as well. So we've just arrived at Checkpoint Charlie. It looks like there's a whole new area sort of built here. You can go on. It says there's Charlie's Beach in there, food, drinks and chill out. There's all sorts of information along the signs here. But from what we can tell, looking over the street here, that is Checkpoint Charlie there. So we'll be checking out the Berlin Wall, or where it was, tomorrow in the next video. But this is an interesting piece here, which is a section of it, which is talking about how difficult this was. This was like the third or fourth rendition of the wall's creation, but it became very difficult for people to climb because of this lip that they put along the top here, and then the height of it. And then it also was useful as well because of the length of this piece here, made that difficult for the, like, the, what do they call it here? Barrier smashing cars to come in and try and smash the wall down. So I had no idea that they'd actually made like multiple versions of the wall to try and protect its like integrity, to make sure it would stay up.
So the spot they're at now is the last of our stops, which is Checkpoint Charlie, which we mentioned before. This place was really significant because it was the third border crossing between East and West, and it became sort of the most significant. I think it was just possibly the most used anyway, and the Charlie just literally come from Alpha Bravo Charlie just being the third. There's also been a lot of battles here as well, which we were just reading a little bit about, where like tanks from like the Soviets and the US were like properly at war here basically. It's a little bit of a tough one though, because there is a lot of people, and it's also extremely commercialized. People are here paying photos to stand there with obviously actors in their clothing, sort of smiling with US flags and everything as well. So fascinating to see and sort of read about the history behind it, but also, yeah, sort of a really somber place that's now turned into this of all of the places is definitely the most touristy. But yeah, there's just so much to read and find out, not just about Checkpoint Charlie, but just about this whole city. It's insane. There's no way that we could possibly pull everything together into just like one video, but we will be doing more tomorrow. We're going to go and see the wall. There's a couple of other things as well that didn't fit because of their like location today. So check back for the next video, but as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the comments. Bye.